What do you think is the biggest hurdle that Arizona is going to have to face this way? Because right now it looks like there's a laundry list of things that they're going to have to deal with.
I mean, it's just a big hit off the start because like they had like at the beginning of the off season, like they thought they were playing like normally at the end of the summer, and then got pushed back, and it's just another big hit for this already weak and struggling Arizona football team. Losing your head coach like right before they're starting, it's a disadvantage right off the bat because like this is Grant Gunnell's like time to shine, and they're trying to like implement him into the offense right away, and just not to have your coach there to do it with, it's really unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, I think my biggest concern is the defense. I mean, we've been talking about it, about how many transfers we've lost, and that side of the ball is pretty weak. And I feel like we've talked about that every week about how the defense is gonna be like such a problem. So I don't really want to beat a dead horse here, but I mean, like we're just 4 weeks away from the start of the season, and Arizona has a ton of things they have to figure out on defense. Like, I mean, they've got a new defensive coordinator coming in, so Paul Rhodes is going to want to install his new defensive scheme. I also don't think that they know what kind of defensive scheme they even want to run yet, right? Like, because I think they initially wanted to run a 3-4, but that decision was made before we lost Colin Schooler and Tony Fields. So I mean, obviously there isn't enough linebackers on the roster anymore to make that happen and run that 3-4 scheme. So I mean, I don't know, just in a 4-week period, you're going to have to figure all that out. And, at this point, it probably sounds like, be more of a nickel defense with, the least amount of the linebackers that they have. They'll probably have to run more corners instead. But that's the other thing, too. They don't know what their depth chart is going to look like as well. Like, so you have to figure out what kind of scheme you want to run. You got to figure out, who's playing where and what your depth chart's going to look like, all in the span of 4 weeks. So, like, I don't know. Like, I even asked Kevin Sutherland at Media Day if he had an idea of what he wanted to do at the linebacker position, and he basically said no because we haven't had camp yet until just today. So it's just like having to figure all that out is just such a pain, and it's going to be a real mess trying to figure that all out in 4 weeks.
Yeah, it's very challenging, as you said, trying to like implement, like try to make a new make adjustments on the defensive like side of the football, like, and with all these young players, it's very tough, and it's not all. It's really just a lack of talent here, like that they're going to be dealing with. Like, I mean, I do think on the bright side that their offense could pick them up, because I think they could be one of the sleeper offenses in the Pac-12 this year.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, I think Arizona finished like top 5 in every offensive category. I mean, I know how much of a headache they were to watch, and it felt like there were 3 and outs left and right. But like in passing, rushing, they finished top 5 in all of those stat categories. So it's really just going to come down to the defense. And I don't really know if it was one of those situations where he said he didn't know what he was doing with the linebackers. Maybe just because he wanted to keep his cards close, and you don't really want to tell other teams what you're doing. But I don't know. It really does feel like we don't know what they're doing with the linebacking core. I mean, I wouldn't know what to do with this linebacker core. I mean, I was looking through the roster. There's walk-ons everywhere. Like, I didn't recognize like 20% of the roster just because it's all those walk-ons. So I don't know. It's definitely a little bit concerning to have to figure everything out in that 4-week span. And we were talking about how 6 weeks wasn't enough time, but camp is just starting today. So now you got only 4 weeks. So what they were doing in that 2 weeks is beyond me. Like, it seems like every team in the Pac-12 was doing nothing up until just now. So we were talking about how 6 weeks was not a lot, but 4 weeks is even worse.
Yeah, and it's very strange because like trying to run or lead the team as best as he can over Zoom. Like, I mean, if he's out for an extended period of time, and up until, if he only has like a week or two, maybe like before the season, like it's just gonna hurt this team like very much, and like they're already don't have a lot of guys there. So I mean, it's gonna be, if the offensive defensive coordinators could step up and take charge and lead this team, because they don't have a lot of veterans, so someone has to step up here and take the lead.
Yeah, I think from what it sounded like is that someone was going to be with the team virtually, at least until he gets back. It sounds like he'll be back sometime next week. At least that would be probably the most ideal thing. But even if someone wasn't going to be there for the first couple days at camp, I think Paul Rhodes has that head coaching experience when he was at Iowa. So, I mean, if things were to kind of be a mess during practice, I think he would be the guy to kind of lead that. But yeah, it's just not having your head coach for the first couple days of practice. It's just one more thing you have to deal with. And I don't know, just this team is already kind of full of question marks, and that's just one more thing. So I don't know, it's gonna be tough for sure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree. And after